Oh, gummy bears.
I'm a gummy bear. Is that how the song
You're
goes?
eating gummy bears. That's hilarious.
Like that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's been the theme on my algorithm.
Well, for those of you that are just tuning in, isn't it ironic? Oh yeah, you should go get the little kitten. No, we don't want to introduce them during 420. We have another little kitty arrived at the old church, a little tiny black baby, just a tiny little girl. And to be honest, I haven't even seen her yet because Christine and I came home. She took me out for my birthday lunch, which was wonderful. And then Grim was outside with Callie, our husky. But when we pulled into the driveway, there is Christine's granddaughter shouting about this kitten, and we're like, oh. So this little kitten appeared on the back step of the old church. So, you know, none of our cats are outdoor cats. So either folks are dropping them off because they know we'll provide them a home, or there is a mama cat somewhere that has had a few litters that has been a busy bee, but she's not ours. Well, she kind of is, I guess. I mean, once in a while we see evidence of an outside cat, but it's not one that we ever let outside. Anyways, how are you all? I think I'm gonna say hi to some folks, but I also think, I don't see any activity on one. So, hello. I'll say hello out here to all yous. Let's say hello to Dharma. Hello. Hello, Bao. Hello, Mishmash. How are ya? And Sue. Hello. Nice to have you. Katana, nice to have you. If I pronounced your name incorrectly, I apologize about that. Hello, Sky Blue 5. Nice to have you. Come on in, have a seat, find a comfortable place to sit, and we'll get started here shortly, but we just want to give people a second to kind of come in and relax and sit down for a minute. Hello to Michelle and Susan. Nice to have you joining us. Nice to have you here, Kimmy Crone. Christina. It's funny how like these names, because you know, y'all know I'm kind of new to not live streaming, but TikTok. Was I supposed to say that? Live streaming. Okay. And so, like, it's just funny to me how names pop in and then they pop out, and it's just funny. Wish y'all would stay. Give it a chance. Pardon me. I'm blowing my nose. I know it's...
You don't see any comments?
No, they're starting to flow in now. Hello, Fired Up. It's good to see you. So for those of you that were with me last week or the week before, some of you, we had talked about hagstones, or witch stones, sometimes they're called. We around here, we prefer to call them hagstones, but that's just what we were taught. Some other folks call them witch stones, like I said. This is my favorite one. It came from the Olympic Peninsula, and I've shown some of you this one before, but it's a real beauty, right? These are stones that are naturally occurring, not man-made, but it has something to do with the way this stone is situated on the floor of the ocean or whatever, and another stone on top of it, that over time they kind of grind with the waves and the tides and whatnot, and Usually they're little tiny marks, and I'll show you an example. This is more likely what you would find out there because these are little indentations, little holes just starting from other rocks, like sitting there. Here's the one hole that goes all the way through. And this is how you use it as a witch stone when you're doing divination. Much like gazing into a crystal ball, you allow your gaze to go just past what you're seeing. And that's where your focus is. But this is what most folks would find. Here in Michigan, we have hagstones as well, but that is a cool one, isn't it? I always like this one because it reminds me of like a little water gun or something. Pew, pew. I probably wasn't supposed to say that, but
What I find quite amazing about it, though, is the magic of extreme serendipity that has to align to create one.
yeah, isn't it wonderful? And like this rock obviously moved after a while, but then it's, it's just tremendous. And there's one starting there as well. It was actually, I can see light through it, so it has another side. But just wonderful. But that is the same thing that this is. It's just, this is remarkable. You see what I'm saying? This one is remarkable. This one is one of my prized possessions. It didn't cost me anything. It was gifted by a dear sister and coven member, and
It's the largest one I've seen.
it's the largest one I have ever seen. So love it. Hagstone. That's really not what we're here to talk about today, but I know we had discussed hagstones in the past, and I just wanted you to see that the ones in Michigan and probably like northern Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, any state that borders one of the Great Lakes, and maybe I don't know about lakes and rivers, smaller lakes and rivers. I don't know. I don't know if the tide
It
gets.
needs to be moving water
That's what I thought.
in such a way. So you'll get them in the
You'll get 'em in
shorelines of the
smaller-
Great Lakes areas. You'll get them along rivers,
Right.
Niagara.
Right.
Mishmash just said, I wonder how many viewers have hagstones or been to areas where they form.
Oh, true. I wonder too. That's a great question, Mishmash. So if you're out there and you're listening, I hope you're listening if you're out there. Do you own a hagstone? Have you found one? Have you been the lucky finder of one of these lovelies? I know that Clover Dup just recently went on a mini vacation and found, I believe, 2 hagstones. And so that's cool. How many of you either possess a hagstone? It's one of your spiritual tools, or maybe it's just a piece of decor around your house and you didn't know what to do with it. Or have you seen them before? What's your story? Tell me your story. There's places to comment down there, and I would love to hear if you have ever had a hagstone in your life. And if not, we got to get you one, right? They're pretty cool. They're interesting. They're interesting. I love stones and rocks. Anyways, when Grim and I go anywhere, like many of you, we collect rocks, stones. We just do.
And vials of water.
And vials of water sometimes, not always, but
Sticks.
sticks, right? We do moss. I mean, this is what we do. I know a lot of you do too. But yeah, hagstones. If you see one, you got to leave an offering in return. You can't just take something from the nature elements and expect everything to go smoothly. You've got to give something back, and it's got to be something meaningful. I always used to. I don't much anymore because we really haven't been driving anywhere, but a lot of times I used to keep a little pouch of tobacco in my glove compartment because nature spirits love tobacco. If ever there is fruit that's easily portable and not too messy in the car, like blueberries, if you can keep them contained, that's a lovely treat in the summertime. It might be as simple as cleaning up a path or taking some garbage out that you find on the trail. I mean, there are numerous ways that you can give back to nature when you do find a gift like this. in your, in your travails, in your travels and your adventures that you go on. Always remember to leave something. Um, we think also pennies are decent things to leave behind. They're copper, they're shiny, and
they represent copper.
they represent copper. They're shiny, and they do return to the earth. It takes a while. It takes a while, but for everything to kind of go back to its original status. Is that the word? I don't know.
Back to its elements.
Ah, yeah. Oh, Mishmash says equal energy exchange. That's exactly it. Never really go out with the idea that you might be collecting some things from Mother Nature. Any good forager would tell you, always take something to leave. Leave in honor in return. And if you can't leave something, and I don't mean your garbage, that's exactly opposite of what I mean. If you can't leave an offering of tobacco or something that in a safe place that an animal would enjoy, I mean, certainly don't put it in an area that is going to put them in any kind of danger. But fruits and nuts and tobacco and, yes, even pennies now and then. Dried rosemary we've taken. We've done some things. But the other thing is, if you're not packing something in as a gift offering, take something out. Clean up the trail. Not just your own debris, but look for other people's stuff, because, it's equal energy exchange, absolutely. Hello, Deb Kirkland. She says she's late. They're doing a new entertainment center refurbished dresser. That sounds like fun. That sounds like a project. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Denny. Good to see you. Denny, I was thinking about you the other day because I don't know if you realize this or not, but several years ago during a reading that I was giving you, we were talking about how several years before I met you, you had been ill. I hope you don't mind me sharing that. And you said that some of your friends started basically like a 9 p.m. like prayer chain for you, and that you felt that this shifted the energy in your healing. And after that day, because I always take a little something away from the readings myself, because, teacher and student, always learning, right? So I'm listening to what Denny shared with me that day, and I went back to Grimm and then eventually Susan, and we agreed that 9 p.m. pause for peace would be a goal of ours as a team. And now Christy, who y'all know as Dharma here, they also participate, and we've got other people that participate. 9 p.m. we say, wherever you are. What?
Nothing.
I don't know what you're saying. Who knows? Anyways, Denny, yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to my awareness. And so Grimm and Susan and I and Christy have been dutifully sharing that out there with the rest of the community. And I know that Deb and sometimes Victoria and sometimes, a lot of these names that I see join us at 9 p.m. to just pause for a moment. We ground, we center, we let go. We, don't need to hold on to energy or cells or feelings that are no longer serving us, good. If they're no longer doing their job, if they're no longer needed, if they're taking up space, just let them go. Let them go. Breathe them out. Breathe them out. Send them out. Don't need to hold on to that. And then take some good deep breaths. Breathe in and focus yourself and know that you're connected deeply to the divine. Call in that connection to your higher self. And when you feel that sense of peace and you know that your breathing is fine and you're fine in this moment, that everything that matters is right now, and in this moment you're fine. And then you start emanating peace. Peace and love and balance and communication. You start thinking these words, even if that's all it is you recite them in your head. You know, may we find patience. May we have balance. You know, contentment, that's a good one. And some of these words are challenging words for us, you know, because I know even myself sometimes, some of the Pause for Peace memes that we put out into the world, once in a while, one of them will come across, you know, I'm scrolling through looking for the post, because I'm not the one that posts them. I help make them, but I don't post them. That's Susan and Christy. That's who makes all that jazz happen on the interwebs out there. But sometimes one of those words will float across, you know, like the other day, I told y'all I was not in a good mood. There was something keeping me from, I was just edgy, and I felt something was just off, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and I really wasn't trying to be honest. But then, like, and maybe it wasn't recently, I don't remember when it was, you know, time is, but that night I remember the word that came through with the Pause for Peace was patience. And I was like, don't tell me to be patient, you know, but it was a nice reminder that sometimes we do need to slow down. You know, last week when we were, or was it Monday? See, I told you time. I don't remember these things because it's not really significant about when we pulled the frog card. But I know recently during one of these 420-ish tea and tarots, I know that we pulled the frog card out of the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle deck that I was gifted a while back that I love to use this time of year. And lo and behold, yesterday I was the Tarot Tuesday reader for the Purple Door, and guess what card popped out? Frog. It came twice. And frog is about transformation. Frog is about letting change happen, not trying to resist it, but being okay with it, knowing that there is a positive outcome, that change is good. But it might not be the fast kind of change that you're used to or wanting. It might be kind of more slow. It might take a week, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, a year. You know, you can't rush some of these things that are involved with divine timing, and everything is divine timing. You know, I believe that even when, I heard Jim Carrey talk about this recently, when he failed, and he failed many times he never succeeded, I don't think, on being a permanent person on Saturday Night Live. But he tried.
He never made 3 tries. He tried.
3 times he tried, and 3 times he failed at being called back for SNL. But he said he just never looked at it as a failure. He just looked at it as it's supposed to come another way. Of course, he was going to be famous. He knew that. He was manifesting. But it wasn't happening the way he was trying to kind of funnel it. SNL, you know, that would have been a great big thing for him.
You also have to understand that when he was a very young man and he had just made his mind up to go into acting for sure, this is what he wants to give a shot at, he wrote himself a check for $2 million and put it in his wallet for the day that he could cash it.
That's interesting. Let it flow.
So when he says,
I'm ready to receive.
So when he says that he didn't look at the Saturday Night Live rejections as failures, he just acknowledged that there's going to be another way. It wasn't the fame that he was after.
Right.
It wasn't the
No.
money he was after. It wasn't the...
No. It was, he knew that he knew he was going to touch people's lives.
Yes.
And did. And he just knew that it was going to happen. He just didn't know how. And each time he, quote unquote, failed, instead of allowing it to, there's the card, and don't you know which one it is? Instead of feeling like he had failed, like some of us would, he turned it around and said, it's just not, this is not how it's supposed to happen. So it's going to be something else. Don't you wish you could do that more often? I know when I heard that, I thought back to all the times that were just in my awareness of when I've actually kind of like beaten myself up emotionally for making a choice that I made. And, you know, sometimes if you could just see it from the perspective that it just wasn't time. It's going to happen. It's just not time. And sometimes we can't rush things, because when we rush things, then sometimes it gets a little murky and out of order and things don't flow.
Yeah, if I just turn the oven up a little higher, it'll cook faster, won't it?
Sure, Grimmer. That explains a few things. No, you're a good cook. So I was shuffling away my Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle deck while we were chatting here. And as you know, with this deck, what I like to do is just shuffle until I get a jumper card. Grim calls them kicker cards. But they jump out of the rest of the deck. They land on the ground. They jump out of your hand, hence the name. And one jumped. And
Profile of that deck.
I know, it's a beautiful deck. I mean, there are a lot of cards in this deck. I don't even know what the highest number. They're each numbered. I see 34 here, so we're at least 37.
Bet you the last page of the book will tell you.
Yeah, I don't want to pick up the book though. But anywho, oh, there's Witch. That's pretty late in the alphabet, right? 42. Yeah. So there's a number of cards, but I haven't even read. I've owned this deck for a few years now. And
typically only use it 12 or 30 days.
I only use it in October. Sometimes when I'm called to, I'll grab it. I took it with me to Waverly. I used it there. I've used it a couple of other places, but I always break it out in October. But I've never pulled this card until today and yesterday. I pulled it. Well, yeah, Grim pulled it. Because we did Tarot Tuesday, he pulled the cards, I read them. And one of those cards was the Nature Spirits card. And if you remember, when we first started talking today, I was referring to Nature Spirits earlier, about leaving an offering. Thank you for bringing it back round. We do appreciate when things connect like that, don't we?
That's why I call them kickers, because the universe kicks them out to us.
I always love these little poems that they provide on these cards, but sometimes they make sense and sometimes they do not. On your toes, twirl and twirl until you're ready to take flight. They arrive in the winds beneath your wings and speak through the swaying of the trees. The Nature Spirits. Let's see here. I just read this with you all the other day, but we're going to take a look at it again. Because obviously it wouldn't have come up twice if it wasn't meant to be. So the key words here are sacred and playfulness. Yesterday when I read the cards for Tarot Tuesday, I used this deck, obviously, and I used keywords, but yesterday's keyword that came through for me was daily magic, not sacred. But I love sacred too, because really what we were talking about yesterday during Tarot Tuesday is really there are a lot of signs from the universe that you are being supported in the things that you do. It's just sometimes we don't always take the time to slow down and see them, right? And so some of that is about taking the time that you need to see the magic in your daily rounds, not just to let it slip by. And so when we let them slip by, that's when we start to lose our joy too. It's when we start to feel as if things are more strained and difficult. So you've heard me say, choose happy for a long time now. Some people still get mad at me about that, but really it isn't about trying to shove your sad feelings aside. It's simply trying to remind yourself of the positive stuff that you do have going on for you. Sometimes we need to take a minute to stop and say, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, that sucks, and that really sucks, but look at this. And to feel that positivity, even if all it is something simple, you know. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be, you know, something you look forward to, your cat sitting on your lap every night, you know. It can be something like that, something that doesn't require money or a lot of investment. It's just, it just is. Don't let those moments slip by you. And listen to me, I'm giving all these orders. Don't let your playfulness get put on the back burner. You know, the world has been hard for a lot of us the last several years. I think everyone is being affected by the global politics. Yes, I said global politics. The environment, the impact of storms and fires and earthquakes and mudslides, and you know, the heat itself is just tremendous. There's a lot of worry and fear out there. We forget to be lighthearted sometimes. We forget, and sometimes maybe we even feel guilty for feeling lighthearted or like we want to play or have fun because others around us seem to be suffering. So how do you balance that in yourself so that you know that it's okay to be, it's okay to play. It's okay to play. You know, you might, I'm not reading the book. I'm just saying you might find that you bring other people's energy up if you're playful. I know some of you are playful. I know some of these names on this screen are playful folks. And by the way, hello LJ, hello Vicky. Haven't seen you in a minute. Thanks for hashtagging there, Susan, Daily Magic and Believe in Magic. Group card Nature Spirits. Yeah. I do believe in magic. When I see it spelled that way, I have such a difficult time. I know it's the conventional spelling of the word magic, but to me, that it doesn't register magic. To me, MAJICK is natural energy, baby. That's the raw magic of this universe. So when I read that, I was like, I'm working on a website right now, and it has the word magic in it frequently, but I need to spell it the conventional spelling. And so that I'm always like, M-A-G. Okay, got through it. I have to go back and spell check myself to make sure I'm not spelling things the magical way, the Gussie and Grimm dup, you know. Anyways, glad to have you all here. This Nature Spirit card, I am going to pick the book up and just see what she says. Nature spirits are fun, silly little things who enjoy laughter and a bit of mischief. They are connected to the freedom of expression and know that life is meant to be enjoyed. Even among the chaos, the sacredness of nature spirits is not generally acknowledged. No, it really isn't. It is something that we often overlook. Current pop culture reference, well, relatively current pop culture reference, Frozen 2. There were nature spirits in that movie. Very interesting. I thought it was actually a really interesting perspective that Disney chose to add into that particular tale, because for example, our ancestors, those of you that are of a Celtic, Norse, Pictish, Scottish, Welsh descent, many of our ancestors believed that the chameleon, the fire salamander, was the nature spirit of fire. And so we forget about those things. We don't really, a lot of us don't really work with them like that. But they are out there. They're a part of the world of Fae. So you know that our ancestors thought for the longest time, and we still do, many of us, believe that our world and the world of Fae exist right next to each other. Once in a while, things cross over. They kind of exist on top of one another, if you will. And the only thing is we can't really see what goes on in their realm. So the playfulness that exists there, and yes, there's mischievousness. I'm not saying that. I know that there are, there's the Seelie court and the unseelie court. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just saying that we forget to play. We forget to play not only with ourselves, but with the situation. The other day, I was so angry. I told you I had an angry day. And I don't know, I was sitting here at the computer and something was really frustrating me on a website. And I don't know if I threw something like a tissue or I did something, and Grim goes, Gussie, I know, I was sneezing. And I got pissed at myself.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, it's only a sneeze. And I'm like, you're right. Like, I need to be more playful. This is not, I don't like feeling this kind of, So bringing playfulness into your life, reminding yourself that even though you can't see them, there are elements, there are natural spirits around you that have existed right beside you all along.
That's why I'm not growing up.
That's why you're not growing up. You're like Peter Pan.
That's right. I'm still 16. I like to play.
In this card here, it says, you do like to play. If you have pulled nature spirits, it could be because you have overlooked details in the daily grind. There are small things in your life that are sacred, but have not been given their proper space. We just talked about that. This could be a family member or a project in your home. It could be yourself. When was the last time you felt genuine joy and had a great big belly laugh, or felt truly loved and supported? You are being asked to be mindful of the little things in your life. These things are calling for you, desperate for your attention. They are a reminder that it is the small things in life that also make the world go round. I love that. I think that was beautiful. Right? It really was. Great day, a great way to spend a Wednesday around 4:20-ish. And it's been lovely hanging out with all of you for this last little bit. What, babe? What are you looking at me for?
I'm just looking at your eye color.
Oh, I love it. You guys are tagging Magic versus Magic. I love that, Susan. Frozen 2, Fire Sprite, yes. Witch Wave, October 28th. Don't miss it, y'all. Don't forget to play. I refuse to grow up. Forever Young. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So glad you guys could be here. And over here also, hello. Those of you that are watching, it's been great spending this time with you. Don't forget to pause for peace tonight at 9 p.m. your time. You keep looking over at me, and I'm thinking like you're trying to get my attention.
No,
You're like doing this weird look like I'm supposed to, what's going on?
I am madly in love with you.
Oh, Grim.
That's literally all it is. I'm watching you on this phone, and I'm going, why am I watching the phone when I got the real thing right there?
Why don't you come sit by me? Why don't you come
Do I still
over
look like
here?
a cockatiel?
Your cockatiel hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, put your hat on, babe. That way you feel better. It's just too much testosterone. That's what it is. That's what it is. Here's my man. I love you too. And I kind of felt like you didn't want me to stop because maybe there was something you needed to say.
No.
Other than you love me? I love you too. All right. Well, I guess we're going to go.
Well, there's I don't get to watch the Facebook feed anymore.
Frozen 2 water magic. Yes. Grim, that's the sweetest. Aphod said. That's the sweetest. Oh, we love you guys so much. Thanks for joining us here today at 420-ish Tea and Tarot. The card for the day was Nature Spirits. You know, try not to rush things too much. The frog card reminded us about that. Try not to rush things too much, and remember to look for the small joys, because those do make the difference sometimes, don't they? Like, I'm
Yes.
feeling joy sitting here next to you. Callie obviously feels some joy too.
You disappeared on me yesterday for a couple of hours. You disappeared on me today for a couple, 3 hours. I got
I
lonely
know.
without you.
Birthday obligations, I'm telling you. That's what it was.
That's right.
All right. Oh,
That's worthwhile.
I don't have the little mousy guy.
Oh, here's a little mousy guy.
All right, y'all. Remember, keep your eyes out for hagstones. They might be in a river, lake, or stream near you. And there's lots more to learn about how to use them, but that was just a little intro.
Where'd it go? Yes, Lloyd, I'm glad you didn't have to stab me in the heart also.
Ah, yeah. You want to tell everybody what that's about?
Just leave it hanging.
At our wedding, Lloyd, aka Fired Up, was at our wedding. He was a part of our wedding, and at the point of a sword, made Grim make a promise. That's all I'm going to say. It was a great wedding, wasn't it? We had a lot of.
It was.
All right, y'all. I hope you have an outstanding Wednesday. Grim and I have to go because we have some Root and Read meetings tonight. I hope that if you're one of those folks that you're ready. See you at 7 and 8. And also, we're going to have dinner, right?
At some point.
Yeah. All right. Great to hang out with you. See you on Friday, 420-ish tarot. What say you? I'll bring the tea. I'll bring the tarot. You bring the good vibes. See you then. At least I hope, maybe. I hope you'll come back. Stay magical.